Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Remote Gaming Podcast. I am Kevin Corkum alongside Joseph King, deep in the heart of Texas. Joseph, how are you?
Kept you waiting, huh? Sorry, I was just trying to do my best snake impersonation. I don't think it really probably worked out that well.
Worked out good. Good for me. I picked up what you were putting down there. I'm excited to dive into this episode. We have a lot of really fun things to talk about. We're both playing two new games, which we are chomping at the bit to speak about. We also are going to run you through the news, all things Randy Pitchford, a little bit of Wolverine.
Randy
The
Pitchford
Nintendo
said something else again?
Andy Pitchford can't keep his damn mouth shut. Nintendo Direct, DualSense updates, but then we want to do something a little special for you guys. We have something really cool. This was Joseph's idea, and I think it's really, really awesome. We're going to start running through our top games from 2000 through to 2025. So we're going to get through a little bit of a chunk of those today as our main topic. Just a reminder, please write into the show at remotegamingpodcast@gmail.com. You can also interact with us on X or Twitter at remote_gaming20. Had some engagement there this weekend as we were talking about Borderlands 2. We're going to be on Twitch, the _remote_gaming there, and catch us up on YouTube. Joseph's done a really nice job throwing together our faces, our lovely faces, over on YouTube as well. So you can catch us there at Remote Gaming Podcast. Obviously, we're on all of the podcast services that you use as well. Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we're there. So check us out there as well. But Joseph, how have you been? It's been a couple days. Anything interesting happening with you on the life front?
No, not really. There was a lot of crap that happened last week that we're not going to get into here because this is a gaming podcast, and I think we're going to keep it strictly gaming. So, been busy with school, work life balance, like I always am, and so the fact that I was even able to start a new game this week is kind of crazy. Still, playing Cyberpunk, trying to go for that platinum, but really, no, nothing bonkers, I guess. What about you?
Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Obviously, crazy world we live in. We're gonna keep it to games, but just working through. Still getting up to speed here on the new job, so that's taken up a good amount of the mental capacity. But other than that, we've got my wife's maid of honor is staying with us from tonight. She gets in tonight. She's probably taking off to the airport right now, and she'll be here through Sunday. So we have that going for us. Still working alongside that, but been diving into some Borderlands here this week as kind of the main game that I'm playing. Wish I had a little bit more time to play. I think I've got about
Yeah.
10 hours in, but you know how it is. Life life does what it does. But I want
There's too many games too. There's just too much shit to play, and that's why I was kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to work through my backlog because there's nothing until Arc Raiders comes out. There's nothing multiplayer that I'm looking forward to. That like, I really kind of am so low on games as a service right now that how we talked about these companies want you to stay engaged with their games that I'm just on a single player kick. So I'm totally fine playing through these single player games at my leisure.
Yeah, me too. That's where I'm at as well. I think Borderlands is going to have me tied up for a while, but Arc Raiders is coming out in October. That I'm going to be all over. We've been talking about that at nauseum. I feel like so. I'm just excited to dive into that. And but yeah, it's been interesting. I did boot up Cyberpunk for a little bit. Played around that for a couple more hours because you got me thinking about it.
Did you do that on the Switch? Did you pick it up on the Switch, or are you just playing through it on console?
Yeah, I haven't picked it up on the Switch yet. I've just been playing
Or
through on PS5.
yeah, you know what I meant. Switch is a
Yeah, I know what you
console.
meant.
That's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
diminishing Switch 2 there. Yeah, it's
Switch is
half
a
a
console,
console
but
now.
it's for me, it's really a handheld. I mean, I played some Mario Kart World with my wife this week, which was really fun. We played probably 2.5, 3 hours of that. It's a great game. The maps are awesome. It feels so good to play. it's just a blast. So that was fun. We hung out. I think I don't remember what night that was. Maybe it was like Saturday night that we played that for a few hours and just hung out. That's the Switch is kind of the gaming system that I play most with Casey, my wife. So we'll play that. We'll play Nintendo Sports. We'll play Mario Kart. We play a lot of Mario Party as well. So those are kind of the games I'm always playing in the background. But gotta talk and give a little bit of praise to the new Mario Kart. I think the game is awesome. I think it's great. It's really solid,
It looks really cool.
and it's yeah. I mean, it's everything great about Mario Kart 8, but the maps are better. So,
Right.
I don't play they have that free world open. I don't play that shit. We're just going through Grand Prix. We're trying to get, full stars on all of the 100cc, then moving on to the 150cc. It's fun because we're competing. So kind of like whoever wins the first map, we try to like help the other person win a little bit while trying to fuck them up around the same time. So we have a good time. We make our own rules, and play that. But I'm excited to see your thoughts here on Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. You've been playing that. Just to frame it, I know that there have been some performance is going to be kind of a key talking point of the entire podcast today.
Right.
Because
Right.
Borderlands has its own performance problems, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the redesign, the controls, the difficulty, and the performance are kind of the main three things that I've been seeing circulating around this game.
Yeah.
But take it as you will.
I'm floored, man. Like, as such a fan of the original and someone who's went and played and beaten this game on multiple playthroughs and probably could quote every bit of major dialogue bit for bit. I mean, they all they did was dub the audio, but it's just like it is such a one-to-one creation. And those conspiracies that I had last week when we spoke about the possible maybe it's just reused assets. 100% it is, but they also change the game mechanics just enough to feel different for modern audiences. And I like it once you get used to it. It still will feel clunky. It still kind of controls like a game from that early 2000s era, right? Like, because it is such a one-to-one remake. But graphically speaking, it's phenomenal. I'm playing in 1440p with HDR on my PC, and performance, it was frustrating at first because my PC is pretty beefy, and to get like it would dip down to 47, 58 frames at 1440. And I'm like, this should not be happening for this game. Like, it's pretty, don't get me wrong, but it's not like Death Stranding levels on the PS5, And so uh, I tweaked some stuff and it still looks great. My only complaint really with the graphics is there's this sharpening effect that is constant on Snake's his outfit, his uniform. It's just so jarring a little bit, and you do get used to it. Some of the textures in the trees and the grass, because there is so much heavy foliage, like that's the point, right? And so I can kind of understand it. But once you get past that, man, it is. I've just got to where if you know the story, I'm in the pre going back. I'm in rescuing Sokolov and haven't really got into the depths of the Snake Eater mission. This part of the beginning of the game is called the Virtuous mission. And um, so I'm not sure how it's going to run when I get into like some of the heavy graphically intense areas, is like the big mission base when you get through. But uh, man, it's impressive. And as someone who's just a huge fan of the game in its original form, I I'm pretty stunned, and I really can't say much because I haven't played so much, but because my jaw was just like, this is how I envisioned it when I was hell, I was 17 when it first came out, I think. And so I'm like, this is what I envision, and it's great. I'm loving every minute of it. I think I was 16, but anyway, yeah. Uh, we'll see how it goes, but I do take back a lot of the things I said. And like I said, my PC is beefy, so I'm not having problems. It's maintained 60 after I tweak some stuff. Definitely, I would not buy this game on base PS5 from what I've seen because it runs at like a 1080p up-res 4K, but can dip down into actually 1080 at some points. And I think that's just kind of egregious. Like I would not spend $70 on this game for sure. And for sure, if you've played through this, I don't think it's worth $70. I got it on Green Man Gaming because it's on sale right now for $52. So, um, yeah, definitely. If you don't have a beefy PC, I would not recommend getting on console at $70. I think that's just too much to ask for. Um, but if you're a fan of Metal Gear uh, simp like I am, it's worth it. So
Okay, cool. I mean, that's a pretty good I'd say that's a pretty good review. I Unreal 5 obviously has its issues. So yeah, definitely if you're a console user, heed Joseph's advice and check out reviews and see what the performance looks like. But I'm happy that you're happy with it. It looks really cool, looks really fun, and
I think it's one of those games that if you there's a lot of games, and I think you're about to talk about one. Whatever you're willing to put up with, right? Like if it's something that your heart is into, you're not gonna care. Like honestly, if it could do 1440 at 60 or 30 to 45, I probably would have got it on PlayStation just for the platinum chase alone. So I think performance is relative because I'm gonna play GTA 6 at no matter what it runs at, right? So performance is, I think, experience is relative to whatever you're willing to put up with. But I do think, as we'll talk about, Unreal has its issues.
yeah, it certainly does. I mean, GTA 6 is going to be 30 FPS for sure. No doubt about that. Probably running at maybe an upres 4K on base PS5. But that's going to be what it is, and people will play it. And I think there are certain games that performance matters more for, but I'm always willing to play at a lower resolution and a higher frame
Right.
rate. That's kind of my thing, and I think, if these latest Unreal 5 engine games have taught me anything, it's that I probably do need to upgrade my PC here pretty soon. I have a 3070 Ti, runs fine, but some of these newer games like Borderlands, I don't know how the hell that thing would run on my rig right now. I'd probably have to lower it to 1080p and whatever to get a sustainable over 60 FPS, which is what I would want to do. But let me talk a little bit about what I've been
Yeah.
playing in Borderlands. I'm going to leave the performance aspect of this to the end. I'm playing on base PS5. I'm going to say up front that it plays fine. And I'll get into more details on that. But just to get the elephant in the room out of the way, it plays fine. Um, it is an absolute blast to play. It feels great. Is it Destiny 2? No, but it's close. And I think the loot grind is way better in Borderlands 4 than it was in Borderlands 3. You don't have legendary drops all the time. If anything, I think they're, on my playthrough. I'm playing through on normal. I haven't upped it to hard. I'm going to up it to hard pretty soon because I'm flying through a lot of the content at this point. I'm about 10 to 12 hours in. Um, the story, I guess let me back up. Let me talk about the story first. My biggest critique of Borderlands 3 was that the story was annoying. It's just the characters were kind of annoying. It was a little too cutesy, too whatever. This game right off the bat sets the tone. It's darker. It is more intense with that Borderlands humor sprinkled in throughout. I'm really enjoying the story so far. I just got to a point where I'm meeting two characters from old games. It really is a blast, from the story aspect. I'm involved. It's not like, Borderlands. I'm not in it for the story necessarily, but it's good enough to bring me through. I'll talk about the gameplay as well. Guns feel great. The guns feel great. The movement, they've added new movement tech. You can now jump, double jump. You've always been able to jump. You can double jump, you can glide, and then you kind of have the ability to like shift left, right, and back. The sliding feels really good. They've added a grapple hook, so you can grapple onto certain points and move around the environments. The enemy variety is also very good. They've done a really good job with encounters of keeping it very fresh. Um, Different types of enemies, enemies that are rushing you, enemies that are staying further back, these kind of big, beefier enemies. You take a lot of damage, which I think is fun. It kind of keeps you on your toes at all times. You're using cover, you're running around, you have to utilize everything in your character's skill set to move through these encounters. Which leads me to the character that I'm playing. I'm playing Amon. He is the big, kind of beefy, brute character. He's an absolute blast. He has these two axes that he pulls out and chucks at people. One is a fire axe. One is a kind of like a cold cryo axe. I've just upgraded the skill set so that the cryo axe freezes people on impact. It's awesome. It works on just about everything, but like named bosses. So they have like the hierarchy of badasses are there more like you can freeze a badass and destroy them really quickly. It feels really good. There is a kinetic energy to Borderlands 4 that I think Borderlands 3 but they've really refined it here where you feel like you're constantly moving, you're constantly shooting, you're constantly healing and using your abilities. It just feels really good. And the build crafting is awesome. There's just a lot of different things that you can do with these characters. I've seen a ton of really broken builds, which is just fun, right? Like that is what Borderlands is about. It's about the build crafting. It's about these different characters and using your entire arsenal to your advantage. So I'm having a complete blast with it. Something that surprised me was the soundtrack. The soundtrack of the game is really good. It's kind of metal. It's very rock
I
focused.
wouldn't have expected that really because I remember Borderlands One, just music just didn't do it for me. You know, maybe it was like that creepy. I don't even want to do an impersonation of it, but you know what I mean. Like it wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't know. When you get into these battles, the music's pumping and it feels really good to play. I think the sound design is really cool. The guns are always, a highlight, I think, of Borderlands. The I think the end game will be interesting to get there. I'm obviously far off, but from what I've heard, there's a lot of cool things in the end game as well. So overall, I highly recommend the game at this point. I don't think there's anything that I'm going to run into where that won't be the case. All of the things that I was worried about have been really pretty much completely eviscerated. Like they're totally gone. But I do need to talk about the performance. This is going to lead us into the news. But my performance on base PS5 has been good. I ran into an issue. I use rest mode a lot. I don't know if you use rest mode or if anybody
Yes.
out there uses rest mode. So I played the first, I sat down and I probably had a 3.5 hour session with it. And then I put it into rest mode and I came back and I realized the performance was a little bit worse. I was getting more drops that were maybe out of the 50s into the 40s. And I was like, this is so weird, right? But I played for another couple hours, put it down, came back, and I was like, God damn. I was like, fuck, the performance is worse. So I was like, let me just restart Borderlands. Let me exit out and come back in. And once I did that, it's been great ever
Mhm.
since. There's got to be a memory leakage to it. There's a
That's one of the things I've been hearing is there's bad memory leaks with this game
so
and Metal Gear Solid Delta.
it's an Unreal problem, and I think this just we've been talking about Unreal 5. We talked about it, I think, last week before
Yeah.
we started playing both of these games. There's an issue with Unreal 5, and developers are having a really difficult time figuring out how the fuck to work with it. And Borderlands 4 is really one of the first open world games on Unreal 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an added aspect where you jump into a new area and you can kind of see, I'm on PlayStation, right? So there's no like shaders loading in. I mean, maybe there is in the background, right? But it's not quite as obvious as maybe it would be on PC. But there's a second where it's grabbing the environments and putting them, a little bit of pop in here and there, but in the main battle sequences, I think it plays pretty damn good on PS5. Not too many issues with it. I know people are experiencing some issues in the end game, and in all over the place. But so far, my experience with it has been overall positive. It's such a fucking shame that these performance issues are going on because the core gameplay is so good. It's one of the best shooters I've played in a really long time, and I think this game's going to have legs. The performance is obviously going to continue to get better, but I'm going to start reading this news article. This comes from IGN. If you've been on Twitter or you've been taking a look at Borderlands 4 news, there's two things that you're going to see. You're going to see, holy shit, this game is incredible. It's awesome. It's so fun to play. I'm addicted. I can't stop thinking about it. And then you're going to get people that say, oh my God, this game is so fun. It's so cool, but the performance sucks ass. Randy Pitchford has been all over Twitter. And I have been following this all the way through. There is major performance issues on PC. And it really comes down to several things, right? On the console side, we need a goddamn FOV slider. We need it. It's a fixed FOV. That is the one complaint I have about it, is that it just feels a little too focused. I don't care if I start losing frames. I need an FOV slider. They've addressed this. They said that it's coming. However, PC gamers, as PC gamers do, are very upset over the performance on their rigs. Now, it's hard. There is Randy Pitchford has had so many tweets over the last 48 hours.
I'm
It's
reading one real quick that he retweeted. I'm assuming this person's a streamer. I think the name sounds familiar, but he retweeted. The person says 9 hours with no crashes at all in Borderlands 4. It turned out my Asus motherboard was setting my 13900K, which is what I have, to an extreme profile, which I'd never use in any other game. Setting it down to performance solved all my instability. It's just like it seems very like see, it's not me.
that is what he's been doing on Twitter all week long, right? He's telling people, code your own engine and show us how it's done, right? Like he's starting to get a little combative, and I'm of two minds. I feel for Randy Pitchford because this game is fucking awesome. But the performance on PC has been shit. And there's a small fraction of what he's saying that is correct. You can't have a 6-7 year old rig and expect a game that's running on Unreal 5 and has all of these moving pieces, and it has a lot of moving pieces, to run like at 4K 180 frames, right? Like that's just not going to happen. But people are experiencing crashes. They're experiencing some really bad performance bugs, and the stuttering is really a main issue, right? And he's come out here and he said, quote, we have made an amazing, fun, and huge looter shooter campaign game. The game is pretty damn optimal, which means that software is doing what we want without wasteful cycles of bad processes. If you aren't happy with the balance between things that you were expecting, please tune your preferences using the tools available to you. He's pushing DLSS, he's pushing frame gen, right? All of these things. Some of you want more FPS or more features, he says, or higher resolution. We have provided many tools to help you with these trade-offs, right? Um, he also said this: it is a mistake to believe or expect that PCs between minimum specifications and recommended specification can achieve all of extremely high frame rate slash ultra maximum high features and extremely high resolution. He won't shut up about this.
Dude, there are retweets of, and to be fair, the internet's an evil place. We've seen that over the past week from everything going on in the world, but
Yes.
um he's retweeting shit that I don't even want to repeat. Like there's fan mail of the day, and I'm just like, whoa, I read that, which I don't agree with anything that person says. I think Reddy Pitchford is an idiot and kind of does need to keep his mouth shut sometimes. Not an idiot, right? I mean, he's very intelligent human being. He just needs to stay off Twitter, man.
He
X.
needs this. He needs to stay off. I'm really not sure how they haven't told him to stay off, because he's just adding fuel to the fire, right? And he's taking away from the hard work that the devs have done. They already put out a patch. So
Right.
they put out a patch on Saturday. They had a day one patch and then they put out a patch late on Saturday. And apparently that patch on Saturday was a really good patch and helped a lot of people with performance. It boosts their FPS by 15, 20 FPS, which is great, right? You got to let the devs cook.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to say, "Hey guys, we're working with a new engine. It's an incredibly ambitious game. We are working in the back end to make this as good as possible. Change your settings. Here are some tips, and then go away."
Yeah. You can't meet fire with fire. And if this last week in particular has taught me anything about the internet is you can't meet fire with fire. People aren't going to listen. They're not going to care. And it's not like Randy developed every little bit of Borderlands 4. I think what he probably conceptualized it and made the story maybe and oversaw its development, but just leave it alone. Let your devs fix it. And there was one tweet that his last one was an hour ago, and it was holy bananas. You guys played a lot of Borderlands 4 over the weekend. The back end online services all held, which is what we hoped would happen. Grab these community rewards while you can. And so he's putting codes for community awards, and it's got the posted like the hours like played and stuff. So like things like that, right? Congratulate your development team, be positive about it, and ignore the bullshit. Like it's like I talked about last week. Gamers are fucking whiny bitches, and so you're not gonna let the people that are most loud in any community of anything. They're the minority usually, but they are the loudest. And sometimes you just gotta ignore stuff and let your devs make a good game, which seems like they have.
Yeah, they definitely have. And this is not a competitive PvP game, right? You can play this game at 60 to 90
Exactly.
FPS and you're not losing a lot. You know what I mean? I
No,
know PC gamers with their fucking Cheetos and all that, like they want to play the game at 4K, 120. Listen, I would love that as well, right? But
there's no
I'm
need
playing
for
on.
it in a single player game. I mean, there's co-op, right?
Yeah, there is. There's co-op. Listen, like I have a couple buddies who are playing. I can't wait to jump in with them and play some co-op. We were talking about it last night. Like that's where this game is really going to shine as well. I'm having such a blast solo. I mean, I'm running around this open world, and you know me, I have open world fatigue, and I have for
Right.
quite a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, what's that? I'm going over there and clearing this tower out, and I'm like, oh wow, I just not wasted, but I just spent 35 minutes clearing out this tower. Whatever, I got some cool loot, great, and I'm
That
moving on to
was
the next thing.
that's a question I want to ask you. As someone who's only played Borderlands 1 and 2, and I dabbled in that Telltale game, but I haven't really played anything else Borderlands. I like it, I just haven't done it. Was Borderlands 3 open world, or did it do like Borderlands 1 and 2, where it was like the open zone areas? Was it
Yep, more open zone.
so? How does this feel? And do you think maybe is that part of why this performance is so bad? Is that it's open world and it's on Unreal Engine 5? Do you think this game would have been benefited better? Does this feel more like? Do you think like what's your take on that? Do you wish this was more open zone, or are you liking the open world?
Yeah, that's a really good question and something I probably should have touched on when I was talking about my thoughts. I was really worried about the open world, honestly. I wasn't excited about it. I liked the zones a lot because it felt big enough, but it didn't feel like, oh God, I have the whole fucking map to go clear out. I am really happy that it is open world. They've done a really good job with events in the world. There's like these big kind of like dome bubble things that you can go in, and there are bosses that you can go fight in these zones that give you great gear and great loot. Um, no, I think listen, it's open world, but there are still very distinct zones. I just got to kind of the second or the third zone. Maybe it's a second zone. Nah, third zone. I just got to kind of like the third zone, right? Which has a different, unique feel to it. They all have this feel.
So when you say zones, is it like closed? It's open world, but it's closed off, or like
No, it's open. But
but
it
you
feels
go to
much.
it's not one cohesive world like a Grand Theft Auto or a Skyrim, is it? Or is it?
It is. Yeah, I know it's one cohesive world.
Okay, okay.
So you'll work I'm sure there's an ice part, of
Right.
it, but I'm in
I
like
got
a
what you're
desert
saying now.
part now.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's I should probably be more clear.
That's
It is one large open map and it is big.
so yeah, I
Um,
mean that probably has a lot to do with the performance, I would assume. And then it's like you said, man, like yes, as someone who's been playing primarily on PC since probably 2015, 2014, I can see a difference between 60 and 120.
yeah,
Most
me
people
too.
cannot see a difference between 60 and 90. And it's like, you don't, I'm sorry. Like for single player games, 60 is fine, even for an FPS. This isn't like you don't need to move around the map like crazy, like in Doom. And even Doom is fine at 60 FPS. You know what I mean? Like, I think competitive multiplayers, um, honestly, there's debate where is there really any benefit after 120? And I'm of the camp that's after 120 to 145. I don't think there's any benefit. Who gives a shit? Um, it's just, but for a single player game, come on, man.
I know. I feel the same as you, and listen, they will continue to put patches out.
Is
There
it
will
maintaining
be.
60 on PlayStation?
It's damn close, yeah. I mean, there are drops, like, no doubt, there are drops. It's not like the most solid 60, but if you're having issues, just close the game out and open it back up, and
Sure.
you'll be running damn smooth again. I mean, listen, there's in these fights, there is a lot going on.
Mm,
You're summoning, like, I'm summoning, like, 2 axes, I'm throwing these elemental things, they're burning, there are a total of 12 to 15 enemies on the field. I'm shooting guns that are sticking to them and exploding at different times while pulling out another weapon
right.
and sniping a guy from like these are really intense fights where there are a lot of moving pieces and a lot of things that the game is tracking all at once. Borderlands has always been that way, but it is like cranked up to 11 in this game. There's just a lot going on. So I actually had the worst drop I had. It went down below 30. It was a time where like it was like one of those desperation things where I was just like throwing everything that I had, right? And I was getting absolutely peppered and I went down and you enter this second wind thing if you've played Borderlands where you don't instantly die. You have a second wind so you
Mm,
you have this like health bar that's depleting and if you kill another enemy you get revived back to life. So I got killed and the game just chugged. I mean, it probably went to like 25 FPS or
ooh,
something, right? It was like really bad. But there was like million things going around me. And then as soon as all of those things kind of blew up, whatever, and I killed a guy, came back, it locks back up to, 55, 60. I'm interested to see what Digital Foundry has to say about all of this. I know that the resolution is changing. It's not like 4K, right? It's probably sitting around 1440p, 1080p, dynamically changing throughout the time. When you're in those high combat situations, it doesn't really bother me, and I'm pretty sensitive to that stuff. So, um, yeah, they'll fix it. I need an FOV slider. I need one so bad, dude. I would
shoot.
lose 10 FPS to get an
Some of
FOV
these guns
slider.
are taking up half the screen from what I've seen.
Oh my god, it's really bad.
If you think it would be serious,
So I'm just
ask
excited for
for
that.
call emergency
Sorry,
Um,
services.
Siri's like yelling at me. I think it. Sorry.
you're good. Siri always yells at me. But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave Borderlands. I'll talk about it a little bit more next week, as I'm sure I'll have some more time to play. But I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Game's great. If you're on the fence of getting it, you got a beefy PC, buy it. If you got a PS5, whatever, buy it. You're gonna get a lot of hours out of this game if you're looking for a good FPS.
Sweet.
Our next story comes from VGC. Insomniac's Wolverine is reportedly coming out next year, followed by a Venom spinoff. The Wolverine game was announced back in September of 2021, as was Insomniac's recently released Spider Man 2, at which point it was claimed that the former was in very early development. While it takes place in the same universe as the Spider Man games, Wolverine is billed as a standalone title. Since it was first announced, nothing has been officially shown from the game, although, sidebar, there has been leaks. I don't know if you've seen the leaks.
I avoided them because I thought it was coming out closer. Because the first trailer, the teaser was 4 years ago.
Yeah. No, I saw it, looked cool. However, this back to the article. However, speculation around the title intensified followed the devastating Insomniac hack, which saw a playable build of the game spread online, and hundreds of documents about the game's release date leaked. According to the most accurate information about unreleased video games, Wolverine is currently scheduled for next year. In the same report, it is claimed that a spin off game focused on Venom is planned to follow, which we kind of knew already. Um, what do you take of this news that Wolverine could be closer than we originally thought? I know this game went through a lot of changes. I hate kind of use the word development hell. It wasn't in that, but there have been a lot of changes. A lot of criticism came out with that early build of the game. Just curious to see. Are you excited for this? Is this something that you're gonna play?
So I love Wolverine as a character. I didn't really collect a lot of X-Men comics back in the day. I think I said this. I collect Spider-Man comics. I have some from the '60s and stuff like that. But I've always loved Logan as a character. I think the movie Logan is probably one of the best damn, for me, top three superhero movies I've ever seen. I I'm of two minds of this. I'm excited from the standpoint that yes, I want to. I'm excited because I want to see what they do. Is this going to be like Spider-Man, where you know a teenager could play it, right? Or are we going to be more mature setting? Is this going to be um, how violent is Wolverine going to be? Because in the true Wolverine fashion in the comics, he does some pretty violent stuff, and especially in the Weapon X series, the actual, there's like an old man Logan, that Logan was based off of. That's a graphic novel. You can take Logan and Wolverine as a very dark character, and he's known as kind of being this violent, testosterone fueled, almost like Kratos individual. I really, really loved the Deadpool game from like about probably like it's probably been over 10 years now. If you know what it was on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. That game was amazing. Nolan North voiced Deadpool, and got my hopes up when I saw the Neil Patrick Harris VR game. And so I hope this is somewhat similar and to where it's true to the comics. I don't want this to feel like Insomniac's Spider-Man. And I'm afraid it's going to. And I'm afraid it's not going to be. Tonally, you can still make Spider-Man serious, but you get what I'm getting at, right? Like it's a different vibe with Peter Parker, and I don't know if Insomniac is going to do the character justice. So I'm just more excited to see what this game holds. I didn't see the leaks. I don't want to see the leaks. So um, as far as it coming out next year, uh, thank God, because we haven't truly seen anything official. I'm betting money we get a trailer, and it either comes out next holiday and it gets delayed till 2027. The Venom thing, I just it's like I said, man, I don't want Insomniac being the Marvel studio, and that's what they're gonna be. Like if it's taken them 4 years, you had Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Venom was supposed to have came out as like a DLC, and then they were like, well, we're just gonna make a full spin-off game. I heard that thing's been in development hell, and they're doing Wolverine, still not out. We're not going to get anything else from Insomniac except Marvel for almost two console generations, and that just bums me out because um, why not outsource Marvel properties to other studios? Um, what's her name from Uncharted's doing that Marvel 1313, right? Amy
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 Hennig?
Hennig, yeah. So I don't know why they feel the need that Insomniac needs to do this. Because I really would like to see something else. You know, I don't know, infamous something,
Yeah.
a new IP.
A new IP would be awesome. They are, as we talked about, kind of siloed now as that Marvel studio. I'm hoping that they can break free of that after the Venom game. They're probably going to have to do a Spider-Man 3. But once all of that is kind of out of the way, it would be great for them to see. It would be great to see them do something new. But I think they're going to do Wolverine justice. I think this will be like an M for Mature game. I think it will be more visceral. I'm hoping that it will be, and I think that they'll deliver. Insomniac has, I mean, they got a good track record of delivering. Like we're upset with them for being the Marvel studio, but
The
those,
games are great.
yeah, the games are awesome, man. They're so good.
I love them. I'm just like, I'm like with Marvel with the same way I am with Star Wars. I have Marvel fatigue. I have Star Wars fatigue because Disney's ran these properties into the ground in the cinematic universe. And so to get it crossed over and be its own universe, but still I just can't find the will to care. You know what I mean? And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's cool. But there's so much better shit out there that I would rather play than a Marvel game. And it's a shame because Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is good. I didn't finish it because I'm just so. I got to a point where I'm like, I platinumed Spider-Man, the first one, and I played Miles Morales. I was just so. This is kind of the same thing, you know? And
Yeah,
so
yeah, it absolutely is the same thing. I'm hoping it's good. I'm glad that it's coming out potentially next year. That's the rumor. If it's ready to go, get it out. And move on to the next thing. But cool. Next piece of news. Wanted to put this in here. There was a big Nintendo Direct at the end of last week. I am going to roll through all of the things that they announced, and we will kind of pick and parcel what we want to talk about. The first thing, the second Mario movie has an official title along with a teaser trailer. This is important because of later things coming on in this Nintendo Direct. It is called the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Now, next, they are re releasing Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch next month. The bundle will be available for $70. Joseph, you just talked about these being your favorite, I think, a few weeks ago. I'm excited to dive into these. Personally, I have not played Galaxy or Galaxy 2. This will definitely be a buy for me. I will be playing through these on the Switch. Anything to add here, Joseph?
well, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm super excited. Like as soon as that was the only thing that really kind of was like, yes. It wasn't a bad direct. There was some really cool stuff. The Dragon Quest HD redo, whatever they're calling it, that looks phenomenal. I can't wait to play that. But as far as the Galaxy stuff goes, it was funny. I was sitting there watching, and I was just talking to my wife. I was like, because my daughter has been so engrossed in Mario Odyssey that I was like, well, this is it. I've got the excuse now. I'm buying a Switch 2. And then my wife was just like, didn't they say you're also releasing on Switch 2? And I was like, oh shit, that's a Switch 1 game. And so she kind of caught me so
I
looks like I'm
gotcha.
getting it on Switch for now. But I'll be getting that Switch 2 eventually.
Yeah.
She doesn't,
I'm
she
I'm
doesn't
stoked
listen.
for
So
this. Yeah, I'm stoked for this too. It's going to be really cool to play these. Coming to Switch and Switch 2, which would be cool. Next piece of news: a new Mario Tennis game is coming out next year. I love Mario Tennis on the GameCube. I'm so excited for that. Super Mario Brothers Wonder is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition with new content. A brand new Yoshi adventure called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is
that
coming
looks
next year.
really cool for kids. I think it looks like it's like a stop motion almost. Reminds me of Woolly World, which was really good too.
That's a really good call out. It does look a lot like that. Yeah, it looks really really neat. Square Enix has confirmed the release date for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which I will love to see how that performs on the Switch too. A Virtual Boy collection and headset accessory are coming to Switch and Switch 2. Did you see this?
Who the fuck like I'm sitting here at 30, I'll be 38 next month, and I'm like, I vaguely remember the Virtual Boy. I remember seeing it. I never had one. I'm like, who the fuck asked for this? And of course they're adding the attachment to put with it. This is so fucking stupid. I think this is a waste of, but for enthusiasts and probably people that like collect consoles, and like we said, this is our own fault. We spoke this into existence. We talked about game preservation needs to be a thing. I was not predicting the Virtual Boy in 2026, but
Yeah, neither was I. I have no interest in this. Nintendo has finally confirmed Metroid Prime 4's release date while also revealing a new open world motorbike section. The release date is December 4th. Did you see this?
I
Do you
did.
think this looks like crap? What do you think?
So I played Metroid Prime on the GameCube and I loved it. I'm not like a diehard Metroid fan. I loved Super Metroid. I think it's a great game. It birthed between that and Symphony of the Night. You got Metroidvania. I don't give a shit about Metroid Prime 4. I think it's been way too long. And I'm like, how long has this game been in development? And like, what pitfalls? Like, there should be, as much as I really don't care for him, because I don't know why he blocked me. I didn't say anything to Jason Schreier, but he does a lot of good books. And I would love to read a book just purely on the development of Metroid Prime 4 because this looks like it looks like a HD remake of a GameCube game.
Yes, it
And
does.
I was just kind of like, well, it's definitely something. It's there. It exists. And I don't know. If I had a Switch 2, I would probably play it at a discount, but nothing Nintendo ever makes is discounted. So I don't know who they think there's a lot of people that waited that I think now just don't give a shit.
I I think your this looks like a HD remake is 100% correct. It doesn't fucking look good at
Mm-mm.
all. Like I, I just it looks yeah, it looks bad.
For
I,
this
I
to be
think
a proprietary game from them, like this doesn't do it for me.
yeah, it doesn't. I will see what the reviews say. If the reviews come out and say that it's great, I'll probably pick it up and play it. I think the first person sections look much better than the bike sections, which look like I mean, they look like a PS2 game. It really is rough. Like I, that's a wait and see for me. That is not a day one buy. I will wait to see what the reviews look like, and it will never go on sale. But, um, yeah, I don't know, man. It ain't it for me.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Bonanza is getting paid DLC featuring DK Isle, and it's out now. Capcom is bringing Resident Evil 7 Village and Requiem to Switch 2. New Pokemon spinoff called Pokemon Poke Pokopia is coming from Koei Tecmo. Basically looks like uh, Animal Crossing, but with
Oh
Pokemon.
yeah, that's the Ditto thing,
A
right?
Ditto
Where
thing.
yeah, that's right.
Cool, I guess. Um, The next game in the Fire Emblem series, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, has been revealed. I am still working my way through one of the Fire Emblem games on the Switch. I can't remember which one. I do love Fire Emblem. Recently, they just feel a little bloated for me. I'm actually probably going to go back onto the Nintendo. What is it? The how do they call it? The Nintendo online backwards
Oh yeah,
compatibility.
yeah. The
I'll
the
probably go
online
through and play
library or
Sacred
whatever.
Stones, which is the Game Boy Advance game that I love. It's like one of my favorite games of all time. I'm probably go back and play that.
Real quick, I wanted to say about that Ditto game. You know what that is? That is 100% Nintendo's answer to what's the Pokemon game with guns? Where they
Oh shit.
this survival
Uh,
game. Hell, I played it. I put like 20 something hours into it. And I can't think of the damn name.
I can't think of the name either.
Dead Air. Here's
Oh
the dead
man.
Power World. Power World.
Power World. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
But this is their answer to that because it's like they were like, we need a Pokemon game that kind of does like the survival stuff, but they're never gonna give Pikachu an AK-47. And so the next best thing was like, let's make a Pokemon game in uh pretty much Animal Crossing or what's the one you're playing currently that's the
Not Harvest Moon. That's what I keep wanting to call it.
yeah,
It's
I
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. This is they were like let's make a Pokemon game in Stardew Valley, and so I 100% think this Ditto game was an answer to Pal World.
Yeah, that's probably a good observation. Yeah, I have no interest in that
No,
at all. Pokemon Legends ZA is getting a paid DLC featuring Mega Raichu for all you big old fucking nerds out there.
Raichu
Other
is my favorite Pokemon, but
he's a badass.
I don't know anything else about the since the first 151 really, or the
There
after the Silver and Gold is when I stopped playing.
Yeah, I'll talk about one of my favorite games. I don't know, I don't think it's 2005, but one of, we'll talk about some of my favorite games. One of them's a Pokemon
Oh, I
game.
see it. I see it. I see it.
Um, Other headlines, Hades 2 will be released on September 25th. Four-player Life Sim Dincome is out on November 5th. I'm skimming through these to see if any of these are interesting. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment will be released on November 6th. A remake of
Nintendo, do me a favor, please. Make another fucking Zelda game that doesn't look like Breath of the Wild, please.
Please,
I'm so over
please.
it.
Yeah,
They
please.
they made a different Zelda game for years, and now we've got what, 4 games that look like Breath of the Wild. I'm fucking
You know
sick of
why?
it.
It's because it can fucking run on the damn Switch.
That's it.
It's because it can run on the Switch. That's literally what it is. It's 3D that can run on the Switch.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it just yeah, it drives me nuts. A remake of Dragon Quest VII, which will be called Dragon
Ooh,
Quest VII Reimagined, is coming February 5th. I will probably be playing that.
I'm all over that.
Danganronpa 2 returning next year as Danganronpa 2 by 2. Dynasty Warriors Origins is coming to the Switch. Monster Hunter Stories 3 will release on the Switch too. But that is really it from the Nintendo Direct. Kind of beefy, honestly, for a Nintendo Direct. There was a lot there. Some exciting stuff, some meh stuff. And that brings us to the last piece of news. This is something that just kind of came out today. The latest PS5 system update lets you connect your DualSense controller to multiple devices at once. I put this in here. I think it's just kind of interesting that they're still iterating on DualSense. I would love to see the DualSense carried over into the PS6. I think it's
Yeah.
a great controller. It's a little big, but they're still adding functionality for this thing, which is interesting. Um, but this comes from IGN. Sony said that many of Sony said that many of us use our PS5 controllers across numerous devices, such as PC, Macs, tablets, and more. It believes enabling compatibility of our peripherals across multiple platforms creates a more flexible and seamless gaming experience. This means that when you change from, say, playing your PS5 to jumping on Steam, you won't have to keep and repairing your device. It'll work by assigning each device to a different slot on your device that you can set up by pressing a combination of the PlayStation button and one of the action buttons: triangle, circle, cross, or square. Then you'll be able to save 4 devices simultaneously and cycle between them using the PlayStation button and the corresponding action button, which means, let's say your PS5 is X, your PC would be, the PlayStation button and circle, or sorry, cross, X, cross,
How,
PlayStation button and
how
circle.
dare you defile the sacred
Defile.
symbols?
You can put, the triangle for your iPhone. Neat feature. I think a lot of people don't use the DualSense on PC and other places because it's a pain in the ass to connect.
Right.
Do you think this makes it any different? I think the bigger thing here is really just they're still adding functionality, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is a sign that maybe the PS6 will have its own controller, but you'll be able to use the DualSense with the PS6. Because unfortunately, the DualShock 4 you could use on a PS5, but only for designated PS4 games. And I'll say this: I do like the DualSense, I really do. But to kind of touch back on the Metal Gear Solid Delta thing, I have a extender that allows me to use, because I was like, I love the DualShock 4. I think it's one of the best controllers ever made. And
God, me too.
I
Yeah.
don't want to let it go to waste. I have 3 of them that are in good condition. And so there's an extender that lets me use DualShock 4 on PC. And so I've been playing Delta with a DualShock 4, and it's just like, the DualSense is great. I just love how it's smaller and it just feels ergonomically and
Better.
yeah, 100% in every single way. So, like I said, it's cool that they're doing this, and hopefully it means that you can use your DualSense and not have to purchase a shit ton of $90 controllers that I'm sure the PS6 will cost.
Yeah. I'm gonna add one more thing onto Borderlands here. It's hard on your hands. There's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of buttons, a lot of inputs. I have the Elite controller with the back paddles. I couldn't imagine playing this game without back paddles. There's
Mm.
just a lot of shit going on, a lot of movement, and if I didn't have them, my hands would be destroyed.
You're getting
Um,
old, Kevin. You got arthritis.
I I really do. It's bad. All right, let's get into the main topic of the week here. This is going to be the Remote Gaming Podcast's favorite 25 games of the last 25 years. We are going to start with 2000. Now, how we're going to do the format of this is that I am going to read off the most kind of critically acclaimed games of each year, and then Joseph and I are going to walk through our favorite game from that year. Looking through the list, it looks like we only have one game that's the same as kind of our both of our favorite games. So we're going to touch on a lot of games here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are. I don't know about you, I had a blast putting this list together and doing the research and going down memory lane and thinking about all of the different things that I want to talk about with these games. But
Yep.
this was your idea, so please add anything that you want here.
Well, the way I look at it, no idea on this podcast is any one person's idea. This is me and Kevin's baby. If you listen to it back in the day, uh, episode 1 through 23, me and I kind of hosted and we did a different format with news, but this we worked together and so yeah, I had a blast coming up with this. We were just like, what's something we could do when topics aren't low? And I was like, man, it's 2025. That's 25 years of gaming, and it's one thing that I haven't seen a lot of podcasts do, and I haven't seen anybody do them yet, and we're approaching the end of the year. So I thought, you know these last few months of the year, we will bring every podcast will be 5 years. So 2000 to 2005 is what we're going to cover today. um I mentioned, I gave myself away and said how old I am. Kevin's a baby. And Kevin, how old were you in the year 2000?
I was 7 years old in the year 2000.
Not even
So
old enough to play these games, man.
yeah, there are a lot of these games that I played a little bit later on, but were still my favorite games from here. But like it's crazy to me that Melee came out in 2001, right? Like
Right.
there are some of these games that I remember playing and played for much longer than that. Some of these games I played right along when they came out, and I'll kind of talk about those. But you'll see a lot of these games will line up with where I was age wise. So while Joseph might have been playing, Grand Theft Auto, I might be playing
Still
something
shouldn't have
totally
been.
different.
I was 14 when GTA 3 came out. I was 13 in 2000. So I'm kind of right there with you. I was on a lot of these games I probably shouldn't have played. Thanks, Mom, though, for buying them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied about GTA 3.
But cool. All right, let's start with 2000. So the critically acclaimed releases in 2000: Final Fantasy 9, Deus Ex, Chrono Cross, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, Perfect Dark, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Diablo 2, Resident Evil Code Veronica, The Sims, that's The Sims, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, and Counter-Strike CS in 2000. Those are a lot of really great games. Joseph, what is your favorite game from 2000?
Um, Man, lot of bangers. Real quick too. Also the PS2 released October 26, 2000. That's when that first came out. There was no, I don't know if you remember that time, but I did get a PS2 for Christmas that year. That was a DVD player for about 10 months, because there was no, people that had a PS2 at launch, no, there was nothing to fucking play on that thing. I was playing PS1 games, and it was a DVD player because it came with it. That was its big thing, right? It's going to be your entertainment device, and it could play DVDs. Um, One thing I remember about the PS2 is that the blue, a lot of the discs were blue, had the back. They weren't CDs yet, and then they moved on to it later in it. But the first, if you remember that, they had that blue film, and I can't remember what that was called, but that was unique about the PS2. Looking at these games that are critically acclaimed, Majora's Mask, can't believe that was 2000. For some reason, I thought that was still like 98 or 99. That 64 was still going strong in the year 2000. Out of all these games, I loved Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Played the shit out of it. 1 and 2, played a ton of them, but it wasn't my favorite of 2000. My favorite was another Neversoft game, and it was Neversoft Activision's Spider-Man. And this game was amazing because I was a huge fan of the 1990s cartoon series, which had majority of the voice cast was the voice actors from that series. And so it was uh, very much it was like they made that game from those cartoons. The Spider-Man that Spider-Man was a Spider-Man from the 90s cartoons. And it was great. It told a story of Doc Ock spreading this toxic gas through New York City, and Peter Parker and having to go save Mary Jane. And it had all the greatest hits of Spider-Man's villains were in this one game. You had Venom, you had Scorpion, you had Doc Ock, you had Carnage. Like, it was nuts. And they did so good. It was such a smart move. Like, looking back now as an adult, I didn't think too much of it, but because of that toxic gas that Doc Ock released, and because of the limitations of PS1, New York was just these little pixels of buildings, but you really felt like you were that high up when you were web swinging through. And that was such a smart design because you couldn't go down to the ground level because it was covered in toxic gas. Super smart to make advantage of the limitations to work out. And uh, that team, Joel something was the lead designer there at Neversoft, real famous designer. I can't remember his last name, but he was in. You could put in a code to have him be replace. What's the newscaster's name that hates Peter? I can't think today.
The
Um,
newscaster? Are you
uh,
talking about? You're not talking about JJ, are you?
yeah. J. Jonah
JJ.
Jameson.
Yeah.
You could put him, the main developer, in place of Jonah, and it was just a great game. Love Neversoft Activision Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's where we are aligned here. That is my favorite game of 2000 as well. I played the shit out of that game. I had a Dreamcast, so I did not play it on PS2. I played
Oh
it on
yeah, I forgot it was
Dreamcast.
there.
Absolutely loved it. I played that game over and over and over and over and over and over again. It has like the hilarious like Venom voice lines. The gameplay is really fun. That second level, you're in that like office building. It's iconic, I think, in a lot of ways for, especially for, people around our age.
Let me
One
ask
of
you
my
this about because I totally forgot. The Dreamcast came out in '99. I never owned a Dreamcast. That was one of the few consoles I never did. You remember Spider-Man's suit? The rendering, it was not able to put his lines of the web, so it was just a blue and red suit, and they just weren't able to do that. Could they do that on the Dreamcast at all, or no?
I don't think so. I think it was, you know what? Yes. The Dreamcast did have lines on it. The PC version, and I think I'm looking at it now, the PC version and the Dreamcast version had lines.
Because I think they
Um,
fixed that on Inter Electro, the second game, which is also very, very good and
Also
underrated.
very good.
Yeah,
Yeah, also very good.
he did have lines on Inter Electro, but they weren't on the. That was one thing that stood out from that. Yeah, it was an Easter present from my mother. It came in an Easter basket full of candy that my mother gave
Oh,
to me.
hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. I love that. Yeah, big shout out to Spider-Man. My honorable mention, just because it's the same, I want to throw this game out there too, is going to be Power Stone 2. It's a fighting game. I played
I've
Power Stone
never
1
heard of
and
that.
Power Stone 2. God, it's so good. Power Stone Wars. I'll never forget that. It was a
What
Dreamcast game.
it was a Dreamcast game. Okay, so that's
It was a Dreamcast game. It's like hard to describe. It's kind of like an arena type battle game where
okay.
it's this fixed camera, and you're fighting in between, and you have these power ups, and like I just played so much Power Stone 1 and Power Stone 2. Those were and still are some of my favorite fighting games of all time.
It looks like Sega's version of a 3D Smash is what it looks
It's
like.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of describing it. It's just chaos, and like the levels are fun, and it's super vibrant. I love Power Stone.
That's cool. Yeah, none, not even the cover looks similar to me. It's got like a Mega Man Legend. Oh, it's a Capcom game. That's what I was gonna say.
It's
It
a
looks
Capcom game.
very Mega Man Legendy, and that art style was very Capcom of their when they moved into the 3D era.
Yeah. So I have to give a special shout out to that just to throw a little something different in
That's
there.
cool.
Let's move on to 2001. Critically acclaimed releases. This is the year that changed it all. The Xbox released
The Duke.
11/15/2001, and the GameCube released 11/18/2001. Huge year. Obviously, two incredibly beloved consoles. I think the PS2, the Xbox, and the GameCube generation is probably the strongest,
Mm,
maybe aside from the
yeah,
PS4, Xbox One generation. But this, I mean, there's so many good games here coming up in the early 2000s, and that's not just nostalgia speaking. I think that's just legitimately the way it is.
right.
We'll walk through some of those now. Silent Hill 2, Devil May Cry, GTA 3, the original Max Payne, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Twisted Metal Black, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, uh, Gran Turismo 3, A-Spec, SSX Tricky. I mean, that game is just so awesome and iconic. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Final Fantasy X, Onimusha, the original Halo changed first person shooters forever on console. Unreal Tournament. I had a friend that was obsessed with Unreal Tournament when I was in school. NBA Street, Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro, Dave Mira, BMX 2.
Yeah.
These are some absolute bangers.
What a year! And like you said at the very beginning of this, this was the year that changed it all. And when I didn't think about this when I made this document and put all these in here, it really was because now another player has entered the arena, and it really when the GameCube came out, it was like, okay, Nintendo ain't fucking around either. And it was really when it was like there were three. I'm kind of getting goosebumps because just kind of putting my head back in time and thinking of, man, there really were. This probably was the best generation of gaming because the PS2 was that's what I owned, and I had a GameCube later in life. Didn't have one at launch, but so I played everything on PS2, and then I got my first PC a couple years later. Did not own the original Xbox till later in life when I started console collecting. So I did not have that either. I would play Halo at a friend's house. Thought it was cool, loved it. Just I was just so enthralled by a lot of these single player games back then, and yeah, man, looking at these games, like just kind of walking down them. Silent Hill 2 just got the remake last year. I still want to play that. Bloober Team. Was that Bloober Team that did that?
Oh gosh. Let me look it up.
I know I was wrong last week. That is a correction I wanted to say. Talked about Chronos, the New Dawn. That is Bloober Team. Kevin was right about that. And that game looks like a love letter to, Silent Hill 2. Um, Devil May Cry really
Bloober
wasn't
Team.
a. It was Bloober? Okay. Yeah, I want to play that at some point. It looks amazing. Devil May Cry, great action adventure game. Of course, GTA 3 and the controversy. I don't know if you remember. And there are two games that saw massive delays and changes. GTA 3 was originally supposed to release like January, February. Or no, it was still scheduled for fall. But um, it was still scheduled for fall, but they had to delay it 1 month because I think it was supposed to come out end of September. And they quickly changed it because they had a Twin Towers like building. They had a Statue of Liberty type thing, and all the police cars were blue and white. And they Rockstar thought it was just a little too close to home, and that's why the Dodo airplane. It was supposed to be originally fully flyable, and they clipped its wings. They did not have enough dev time. They were able to delete the Twin Towers, change all the cop cars to black and gray. They did not have time to fully remove the Dodo, um, so they clipped its wings, and made it completely unflyable, which changed the mechanics of that. And then Sons of Liberty, the final boss battle was actually supposed to be Solid Snake and Raiden. Sorry, I'm spoiling Sons of Liberty, a 2001 game here, but Snake and Raiden were supposed to fight Solidus and Ocelot on the streets of New York while people ran past you in panic and you had to save civilians. It was supposed to be this big thing that Kojima had planned. Instead, he had Snake or Raiden and Solidus fight on top of Federal Hall. And it changed and actually made for a really good ending when Snake and Raiden, because it changed up the whole dialogue. But that saw a massive delay into like, I think, November of that year for them. And what's crazy is you think massive delay for them it was, because you could imagine these teams scrambling. Nowadays, delays are delays for years on end, and they did it in a matter of months. Um, I played a shit ton of Gran Turismo 3. Dave Mira BMX 2. I want to include that because RIP Dave Mira, committed suicide a few years ago, but what a great game that was. Because I don't know if you remember the PS1 version of this, but the PS2, it was just so night and day, and it was such a fun game. And then playing it, being in that time of Tony Hawk games, I really wanted to give my favorite game to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, because I am such an MGS fan, and the leaps and bounds. Metal Gear Solid 2 looked like a fucking movie in 2001. You were like, what? To go from like that blocky pixel of the PS1, and even that game is phenomenal by its standards, to come to that was just phenomenal. GTA 3 is monumentally one of the most important games, I think. I think it's a top 5 most important game of all time. But ultimately, I went with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 because that's probably what I spent the most hours in. It's my favorite Tony Hawk game.
Mine too.
Um, my honorable mention would be, obviously, other than GTA 3 and Sons of Liberty, Twisted Metal Black is the best Twisted Metal game. The cutscenes were, I remember Sweet Tooth and like just being a sociopath murderer, and he's there's like, shut up and bleed, you mother, and it's just, God, such a dark game that David
Yeah.
Jaffe and that team made from Twisted Metal 4. So, but yeah, THPS 3, I unlocked everything. You got Wolverine as an unlockable character. It had Darth Maul.
Darth Maul was awesome.
Still had Officer Dick.
The
it,
devil. Wasn't the devil a character you could get in?
it was a like a demon, like Lilith type character. It was like
That's what it was. Yeah,
a
yeah.
demon hot chick kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, those. Uh, I remember Wolverine had a move where he would do like a 360 McTwist, but he would stab the board and put it back on his feet, and it was so cool. Like, Neversoft was goated back in the day, man. So, what was your favorite of 2001?
My favorite of 2001 is gonna be Super Smash Brothers Melee. Um,
Great game.
but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is my favorite Tony Hawk game. I put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into that game. However, Melee is just a game I think that stands the test of time. I think you could put that game in front of anybody at any point, and it feels so good to play. It is the best Smash game, hands down, bar
Mhm.
none. I have so many nights playing that game with my friends and just getting completely lost in Melee. Like, it is so good. The roster is amazing. There's no better fighter in that style than Melee. I don't think any of the other games have been able to match it.
It was my favorite of Smash Bros. And my second would be the one on the Switch. But yeah,
The Switch one's good too,
Did,
Ultimate.
was the GameCube the first one you owned,
No,
or out of
well,
those three?
the first one I owned, well, I got a Nintendo 64 late, but I had a neighbor, Chris Barth, shout out Chris Barth. He had a 64, and I would go play Smash Bros on his 64 all the time, and I would kick his ass, and he would get so mad at me because I won all the time. But yeah, that was my first one was the OG. I still love that game. It's incredible. Melee took that and obviously just like
But out of those
completely.
three consoles, which one did you own first? Did you have one?
Uh, I had Dreamcast, PlayStation. I got a GameCube late. I think I got a GameCube after I got a PS3.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of went out of order there. There's just so many games I wanted to play on the GameCube, and went back and bought a GameCube. But I played Melee at a lot of my friends' houses who had GameCube, and that was my introduction. I still think I just think it's one of the best
That
games of
cover
all
is
time.
so awesome. Like the way that they're just kind of like on both sides and they're coming together. Like
Oh
I love that game.
yeah, it's it's unreal. It's super super good. So that's my favorite game of 2001. Moving on to 2002. Critically acclaimed releases. This is the year Super Mario Sunshine came out, GTA Vice City, Elder Scrolls Morrowind, Kingdom Hearts, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, Mafia, Splinter Cell, Hitman 2, um, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil. This was the GameCube version, right?
Yeah,
Of
it was remake. That it's
remake.
most
Got it.
famously called. Yeah, it was a 3D ground up remake of Resident Evil.
Metroid Prime, Battlefield 1942, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, which was in the running for my favorite game of this year. I love Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I love Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Remake those games and throw them on something. I will pay probably $200 each to play those games again. I love them. The Getaway, SOCOM, US Navy SEALs, and then BMX XXX came out that year too. This was a great these years were really cool for like those sports games. We talked about the snowboarding game earlier. This was just a really cool game for like extreme sports between Tony Hawk and BMX, and this was the golden age of that. But Joseph, what is your favorite game? Or talk about some of these, wherever you want to take it.
So I included BMX XXX. I don't know if you remember that game. I just put it because it was a very hot topic at the time. 2001 to 2002, we were here in the heat of Grand Theft Auto 3 being brought up in Congress. Columbine was at the end of the 90s, and then now we have Grand Theft Auto 3, and then you have Vice City. BMX XXX was a game where, if you don't remember this, it was like Dave Mirra's BMX, but all the characters were naked women. And I think it
Oh,
got
yeah.
I think it got patched that the PS2 version they were wearing bikinis, and I think there was a version of BMX XXX where they were not nude. And but that was the thing, is I remember reading official PlayStation magazine back in the day. I used to collect those like crazy, and um, they this was a game that got delayed, and it was just I just wanted to put that in there because that was like real big controversy back then. There are some huge games that I hate. This was hard for me. This year was hard because
This was a hard year.
there are three games that stand out that I played the most of, other than my favorite, which Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, awesome, but I still like 3 better, so I didn't pick that. The Getaway, definitely should have played that at the time either, because I think by this, not I may have been, I guess I was 15, but it was a very much darker, it was a take. You could tell they were feeding off the success of Grand Theft Auto 3, but it was super, for the time, realistic looking. And it was set in London, and it had this very, very popular British voice cast. And the story was very dark. You played as a man whose son that used to work for the like London mob, and his son was abducted, and then you halfway through you change to a police officer. Great game, great game. Lots of hours in that. And then SOCOM Navy SEALs. Oh my God, please, Sony, bring SOCOM back.
Bring it back.
Zipper Interactive, unfortunately defunct, no longer a studio anymore. But Sony still has the IP, and they could do something with it. I loved this. Was hard because I wanted it to be SOCOM. Lots of fond memories of that game. But I just my favorite my second favorite Grand Theft Auto of all time is Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I played so many hours of this song. Like I said, I was 15 when this game came out, so I'm a kid I was born in the 80s, but this really brought my love for an appreciation for 80s music to life at 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I remember the first song you hear is Michael Jackson's Billie Jean right when you get in the car and
It's so
driving
cool.
down that strip in Miami, and just the lights, the neon, Ray Liotta, who is phenomenal, and just the callbacks to Scarface and everything. It was a love letter to the '80s, and uh, I couldn't imagine being. I wish I could talk to someone that was an adult that really played video games and lived through the '80s to play Vice City and see like what stands out to them. But yeah, Vice City was my the one that I just wasted. I 100% of that game, and it was cool. If you 100% of GTA Vice City, you got a shirt that says "I spent all this time in Vice City, and all I got was this stupid shirt." So shout out Rockstar for wasting my time on that. But yeah, love Vice City.
Yeah, Vice City is probably, I don't know, GTA 3 and Vice City are up there for my favorite GTA games. I wasn't a big fan of 4. So those are two up. I mean, I toss them back and forth as to which one's my favorite, depending on what day it is, really, what I'm
Right.
in the mood for. But my favorite game from 2002, Kingdom Hearts 1.
Nerd.
I I big nerd. I will never forget seeing this game. I used to rent a lot of games back in the day. I remember seeing this game and the cover art for this game on the shelf at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. It is probably my favorite cover art of all time. It is just absolutely beautiful. Caught my eye. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts, a mixture of Final Fantasy, Disney, like all of these different things thrown into one. And it just hit, man. It was kind of my entrance into RPGs other than, I guess you could say Pokemon or something like that. But it was an action RPG. It was just completely enthralling for me. I loved it from the get-go. I thought the character designs were super cool back in the day. Like, I fell in love with it, and it was, familiar but new all at the same time. I was the right age for it. It just slapped for me.
Right.
One of my favorite games of all time, Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. It's really hard to beat those games for me.
I tried at a very like I think they re-released them. Like didn't there like fucking 20 versions of Kingdom
Yes.
Hearts? Like
Yeah.
so I there whatever the PS3 collection was.
Mhm.
When I really got into gaming when I moved out when I was in college. I was like, okay, let's see what the fuck this is about, right? Because I'm 15. I'm playing GTA and SOCOM. I'm not playing fucking Mickey Mouse meets Cloud. What is this bullshit? Um, I just don't get it. I
Yeah.
never have, never will. I tried it and I was just like, to me, being an adult and playing Kingdom Hearts for the first time is what I would assume is very similar to the first time somebody does mushrooms. Like,
Yes.
the story makes no sense. I don't know what is happening. Why the fuck is Goofy fighting Sephiroth? It's so weird. It's so weird. But I'm glad that it's so funny that it's so true to both sources of material. It's so Square Enix,
It's so square.
and the fucking voices for like isn't like Woody in like Kingdom Hearts 3 and shit. Like Woody, like they did
Oh, yeah.
Everett, like all the Disney characters, right? Like isn't Vader is
Tron.
Vader in it now?
So no Star Wars yet. Big rumors
Okay.
for the 4th that they'll throw some Star Wars shit in
So they're
there.
still making it. They
Hopefully
still
not.
haven't gave up. It's so weird, right? But it's the the ability to just be so he, true to the source material is just impressive to me. I just don't get it. It's not for me. I'm glad that something weird like that exists for people to have, though.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. It's completely off the wall. It's just, it's like comfort food for me. I think, honestly, I think a large part of the reason I loved it from a really young age was the soundtrack too. I think the
Square
music in Kingdom
Square makes
Hearts
great
is
music.
just there's a town called Traverse Town, and the music in Traverse Town when you first arrive, it is just like I don't know what it is, man. It's magic. Like it's just so great. Love it. Love the game. Love the combat. Love it all. I love the weirdness. I love it all. It's just so fucking awesome. And
What it is
it's
that it's called the Keyblade, right? That's the name of the weapon.
Keyblade is the weapon.
That's a
Yeah.
very it's like I said, not for me. I understand why it's so important. The Keyblade is one of the most iconic weapons in gaming. It's like people see it, they know if you're a gamer, you know exactly what that's from, whether you played this game or not.
And you've seen some terrible nerd holding it
Dressed up in
at a
their clown
con.
shoes
Yeah,
with the
someone
with the cloud stripe
with
wig on,
the
holding
hat, yeah.
holding the Keyblade at some convention. They're always there. They're always
Yep,
there.
always there. You
It's
can't
always
get rid of them.
I never mind. I won't say that, but it's I'll just leave that thought in my brain where it'll exist.
Uh, okay, we'll move on to 2003.
Remind me to tell you off stream
I
or off
I will.
record. So what I was
Um,
gonna say.
I will. All right. 2003. Critically acclaimed releases: Call of Duty, Max Payne 2, Tony Hawk's Underground, which I played a lot of, KOTOR, KOTOR, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Madden 2004, which was one of the best Maddens of all
Yeah,
time.
that's why I included it.
Yeah, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, another banger, Silent Hill 3, Manhunt, Devil May Cry 2, Beyond Good and Evil, which I never played, Castlevania, Lament of Innocence, and Tenchu: Wrath of Heaven. On the list of games, this is one of the weaker years, I think, for critically acclaimed games was 2003. The
Yeah.
standout titles for me are Wind Waker, Underground, Ruby and Sapphire, and then I think, Max Payne 2 is great, and obviously Call of Duty has to be mentioned. I never played Manhunt, didn't play Devil May Cry 2, didn't play Beyond Good and Evil, and never Prince of Persia. I played Sands of Time late, liked it, didn't love it. But interested to hear what you have to say, and I already know what your favorite game is here for sure.
Yeah, I like you said, I do agree with you that this is probably the weaker of these 5 years. But there were some good games, and monumental games. And COD was this thing that came out, and it wasn't even called that then. It was just Call of Duty, right? And because it wasn't multiplayer, or was there? No, I can't. I don't, because the PS2 had an adapter where SOCOM and certain games. I cannot remember if Call of Duty One had multiplayer for the Xbox, and I know there was like split screen co-op. You could do like the GoldenEye versus stuff with multiplayer, like couch co-op multiplayer against each other. But as far as online, I don't think it had an online multiplayer game until Call of Duty 2, if I remember, or maybe it was four. Maybe Modern Warfare was the first one. I don't remember, but anyway, I do remember playing that on an Xbox at a friend's house. But I included it because it kicked off one of the best selling games of all time, series, or the best selling game series of all time. Madden 2004. The reason I included that, sorry if you don't like sports games, but I've played a lot of Maddens. I used to play NBA 2K, or NFL 2K was actually my go-to of the NFL games until the license got taken over. So, but Madden 2004 I did buy because it really did change the game. It's when they introduced the QB vision with the cone, and
Oh God, it was awesome,
obviously
awesome.
the cover, Michael Vick, was a cheat code. Everybody that played against each other were using the Falcons because he was insanely broken in that game. Uh,
Iconic cover too of Michael Vick. Like that is
yeah,
probably, yeah. I mean,
It was
2004
it was
is
right when the Falcons changed their jersey scheme. They've changed them again since then. This is actually my favorite jersey scheme of the Falcons. That red with the white and the pinstripes and everything. And then Michael Vick being
awesome.
an iconic
Michael
NFL
Vick.
star. Controversy aside, go Birds. Loved him with the Eagles. But Beyond Good and Evil, I included it. It's a game that people have been hounding for a sequel for that you're never going to see. So it was just kind of one of those games that is in the talk. It was a weird game, chicken a pig. Don't know. I think I started it a long time ago, never finished it, but it is one of those games that gets brought up in gaming a lot. Manhunt, very very controversial.
Super controversial. Yeah.
Rockstar published, was not developed by San Diego or North,
North.
which was, it was neither one of those. It was developed by the same people that made that video game that was based on the 70s, and I think I wanted, maybe it was Manhunt. Let's see. I want to say it was the people that did Drive. What was it?
Drive Club.
Yeah.
Or,
What was
no,
Rockstar's racing game?
um,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, I'll look it up.
It was like where you
Midnight Club?
Midnight Club. Yeah, developer. No, it was Rockstar North. Okay, no, the same developers at GTA developed it. I was completely wrong. But it did get so much backlash for being a very violent, graphic game. Um, the style was you're in a prison, and it was all recorded footage from the video camera, and you basically had to serial kill your way out of a prison. Um, sorry, I lost my Google Doc. Got to pull that back up real quick. Uh,
Yeah, when it came out, I remember it was incredibly controversial. It was probably even more controversial than any GTA
GTA.
game
Yeah.
just because of the subject matter and the brutal murders that you you would do. I remember, that was a big thing. It was just like the weapons and like the way that you killed people was really quite visceral.
Yeah, yeah, it was nuts. Silent Hill 3 was probably the worst Silent Hill game, but was a continuation of a very popular series. Castlevania Lament of Innocence. I love this game. It was one of the it may have been the first because kind of like Castlevania Lords of Shadows is a 3D Castlevania. This might have been one of the first, if not the first. Great game. I enjoyed it a lot. But my favorite, um, I'm a person who loves atmospheric games like Witcher 1, um, things like Alan Wake. If it's very dark undertones, the just and something about film noir, I love it. And Max Payne 2 is the fall of Max Payne is one of the most over the top but cinematically dark and gritty games I've ever played, and I just love its atmosphere. I love the story of it. Um, Allegedly, they're remaking both of them, and specifically this one I heard is getting remade, and I hope that's true because I would love to play through that again. But I can't say enough good things about Max Payne 2. Um, I thought, a lot of people like Max Payne 1 better, of another very atmospheric game, but this one just felt like you remember when Sin City came out and those movies. This felt like something like that, but better in the way of those old crime show, black and white, just rainy background noise. Like it was just, I don't know, the atmosphere was just so atmospheric. I love Max Payne too.
Max Payne 2 is a great game. I love the Max Payne series. I think the gameplay is just so fun. I think you're right. I think the atmosphere is really cool. It's like Jersey. It's like New Jersey. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure is where Max Payne is set 1, 2, and
it's in New York
3
City. I think it's in Brooklyn and Jersey. A lot of
in
it.
Jersey.
The
Yeah,
worst
it's
parts,
just
but to me, the best parts of New York. But a lot of people consider it the worst.
yeah, it's like the tri-state area grime and grit to it.
Mm.
I think adds such an interesting, really cool layer to those games. Love Max Payne. It's super, super fun and super cool. My favorite game of 2003 is Pokemon Ruby. Unpopular opinion, I think Pokemon Ruby is the best Pokemon game aside from Pokemon Yellow. Uh, God, man, Pokemon Ruby, I don't know how many times I played through that game and beat it and did all the things and collected all the Pokemans, that I possibly could. I love Ruby. I loved my Game Boy Advance. I played a shit ton of my Game Boy Advance. I still have my Game Boy Advance and boot it up from time to time, and Pokemon Ruby is a game that I have to this day. I will always keep. I will always play through. In college, I played through it on an emulator multiple times. Well, I was like at rehearsal and like before shows doing whatever. Pokemon Ruby is awesome. I think
Is
just everything about it is great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Ruby like to this date like the scale of the map and like the amount of gems is it? Because I know my favorite is silver or gold, whichever way you look at it. Because the cool thing was that after you beat the gym masters and that, you go straight into all the ones from the original
Before.
151.
Yep.
But doesn't Ruby like just have like an insane massive map?
It does. It has a really big map. And I think it has like the best combination of Pokemon in it. Um, I'm trying to like look up the scale of it to try to figure out like how many. I haven't played it in a long time,
It
but
was
um,
it was one of those games that that this is where Pokemon ended for me, unfortunately. And because I really loved the design of the original 151, obviously, and then I actually did like everything with however you want to pronounce it. Is it Lugia or is it Lugia and Ho-Oh and all that?
ho ho.
I loved those Pokemon as well, but once we start getting into this, it just lost its it didn't feel like Pokemon anymore to me. And this was probably the closest thing to that, and then it just got more and more. Because what do you do, right? Like the designs are just so much different.
No, you're 100% right. I think this is when it was at its peak for me. And everything clicked. And like, if you're asking for what I believe is the most complete Pokemon game of those early years, I think it's this one. I mean, I love Silver and Gold as well. I just think this is a little bit better. And my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Yellow. I had the Pokemon Yellow Game Boy Color.
I played so much
And
of Yellow and Red and Blue, but
yeah, it's Yellow is amazing. But Ruby, I think just everything clicks in Ruby and it feels really good. Yeah, I mean, shit, it's making me want to go back and play that game now.
they
Uh,
remade it right for the 3DS, like
they did. Yeah. I never picked it up.
Omega
Well,
or something like that.
yeah, they've done. I mean, this is the thing is they
They
keep,
keep going back to it.
keep going back.
This is what lost me about it. Was this was the one that started where they were like looking more mechanical. Like I don't even know the names of them, but it was like almost like this cross between Digimon where they were looking like these anime creations instead of just like actual cute little animals that could evolve into these things. I think that's what lost me on it.
Yeah. I happen to like this generation of Pokemon and their designs. Um, like I think like what is it, Rayquaza or whatever. Like they just had some really cool, um, like Blaziken or whatever, like Blaziken or whatever the fuck. Like I liked the way they looked. I thought they looked really really cool. Past here they started looking like really really strange.
That
But
it
this is
just
like
yeah
this is where they started the transition into what it is now,
today
where
yeah.
it's like you have like fucking ballsack Pokemon or whatever.
What was the whale called? Because I always thought that one was cool on the cover of Sapphire.
Yeah, well, let me see. Jesus, man.
Oh, it's my favorite game, but I don't know what the
I
fucking
don't know the name of
one
the
of the main
Pokemon,
Pokemon is.
dude. You know how long it's been? Uh, Pokemon name. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, it aesthetically that was the only one that really appealed to me. But you played Ruby, right? That was the version you played.
Yeah, Ruby was the version that I played. That was my yeah, I still can't fucking find this.
It doesn't matter. That's fine. Uh, Raichu will always be my favorite.
Raichu's a cool one. All right, 2004.
Oh God,
This is one of the best years of all time in gaming, I think. You wrote it here, I agree. World of Warcraft, Halo 2, Half-Life 2, GTA San Andreas, Doom 3, KOTOR 2, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline, Far Cry, Fable, Unreal Tournament 2004, uh, the
Tony
Tony
Hawk
Hawk
Underground
Underground
too.
2, Metal Gear Solid, The Twin Snakes, Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, Killzone, Star Wars Battlefront, Spider-Man 2, the movie game, Gran Turismo, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I also play the shit out of, Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow. There are so many good games here. I feel like I could have chosen 2 or 3. Yeah, obviously World of Warcraft, I think Star Wars Battlefront, uh, Unreal Tournament 2004, San Andreas, I mean, Pokemon Red and Leaf Green, those are the remakes of the, um, Game Boy Advance games, or excuse me, the Game Boy Color games. You can't go wrong here, I don't think, with a choice. Gran Turismo 4 obviously is like really well regarded as well. KOTOR 2. There's not a single dud on here. Any one of these, I think you could make an argument for favorite game, you know? But I'll kick it over to you and see what you have to say. Halo 2 obviously is like probably the pinnacle of Halo
Right.
games. So, yeah, I mean, San Andreas, like, ugh.
I'll just start off with World of Warcraft, talking about it. In my opinion, outside of something like, and maybe we'll do this one day, the most important video games of all time. Um, outside of your things that have to exist, like like Tetris and Pong. You got Super Mario Brothers. I think two of the most important games of all time that are important to how gaming is today would be Grand Theft Auto 3 and World of Warcraft are in that top 5 list for me because it changed gaming as we know it. And I don't know if you remember this, but I didn't start playing WoW until much later. Until Burning Crusade came out is when I started. But I know I had a friend that was playing EverQuest that left EverQuest to
Mm.
go play WoW, and WoW was what Fortnite was to what a lot of gamers will remember about the time we live in now. And in my opinion, bigger. It was, to me, World of Warcraft was the craziest thing gaming has ever seen. And for almost 10 years, it was the top like most played game, and it was only on PC, and it still is only on PC, and it's still going on today. There's a new expansion coming out at the end of the year. And so to be going on for over 21 years and still what many regard as still the best and premier MMO to play, you got to throw WoW in there. Halo 2, like you said, just probably the best Halo game, I think, that a lot of people would say. Personally, I think 3, I liked 3 a lot.
Mm.
Um, but Halo 2 had the best multiplayer probably, and I think that's where it really kind of like, oh shit, right? Like
Yeah.
Halo 2 was just this thing that every college dorm, everybody you knew someone that was just balls deep into Halo 2. Halo 2 was the COD of its time. Before COD eventually came out, Halo 2 was everywhere. And like that, I remember that's all I saw was either Master Chief's face or that fucking dwarf from World of Warcraft was all you saw in 2004. And then along comes this little game called GTA San Andreas. And it literally took everything that GTA done and blew it up. There's a bunch of other great games in here. But for me personally, it's the second best Metal Gear game of all time. And I think that's why I'm really going to take my time and love Delta so much. And I had so much to say and almost kind of like why, and I'll give my 2 cents to really why now, but Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is my favorite game of this year. Outside of Death Stranding 2, this is Kojima's best game. It's not my favorite Metal Gear. And I think the most fun to play is 5. My favorite is 1. But I think for what he tried to do and how he incorporated alternate history and the Cold War and real life characters like JFK and Khrushchev and a lot of these, he made a James Bond spy movie inside a video game where you played as a fucking GI Joe that went against Marvel superheroes. Is the best way. It was like the villains in this thing were amazing, and the just everything about it was peak tactical espionage action, and so it really helped make sense of if because Metal Gear 1 and 2 were released on the NES and they were only on the Famicom. They were not on the NES. They were only in Japan, and then they got ported over years later. So you didn't know the story. If you played Metal Gear Solid 1, you're like, it just starts with there's this dude who has a twin brother and he's trying to cause nuclear chaos. And they mention this guy, Big Boss, right? When that we were cloned from his DNA, brother. And like all this massive story gets built in the game. And for him to just take what he started in the 80s and make an entire game on it to build on the lore, and he built a perfect lore that it's just his writing is just insane that he was able to do it. And so I love Snake Eater, and it was hard not to pick San Andreas. It was hard not to pick WoW, but like I said, didn't play WoW until then. I just respect WoW as one of the best games of all time. And most important, Underground 2 was okay. The Twin Snakes, like I said, Metal Gear Solid 1 is my favorite. The reason this Snake Eater clears this for me is because they reacted all the cutscenes and it was a little bit too cheesy and over the top, but it was Metal Gear Solid with Metal Gear Solid 2 graphics. Great game. I love it, but Snake Eater's better.
Yeah, good breakdown. I gotta go through and play all the Metal Gear games.
You really should. I think it's one of those, like, if you're a fan of the the lineage of gaming, you got to play 1, 2, and 3 for sure. Everything else you can fuck off, but 1, 2, and 3 you need to play.
Yeah, I need to do that as well. My favorite game, I have my favorite game, and then I have an honorable mention. My favorite game here is going to be Spider-Man 2, the movie game. I love this
So good.
game. I think as far as an app, like you were talking about atmospheric games earlier, and I think this game has that. I played this all the time. We like got something that we could like connect to the PS2 to like my car, like my way to the family minivan. I would play this shit when my like driving around to the mall. Like I'd just be zipping around playing this game, hanging out in the world. The story is really fun. It follows the movie, of course. The missions are really fun. I just this to me in 2004 was what I was looking for. Like it
Right.
was just a good time with a video game. I obviously played a ton of Star Wars Battlefront as well. With my brother specifically, we played a lot of Battlefront. We played even more Battlefront 2. But that was another game that I spent a lot of time with. There, you just can't go wrong with this list. My honorable mention's gonna probably surprise you and some other people. NFL Street. Um, I I played a lot of that game even later on, like when I was in high school, with my friend Joey, one of my best friends, lives here in Orlando today. But I would go over to his house on like just a random Saturday, and we would probably play 8 hours of NFL Street straight on his Xbox. Like just sit down and play that game, order pizza, make burgers, and just sit down and play Street against each other for hours and hours and hours. Tiki Barber, you would throw him in as your
Oh,
quarterback,
yeah.
and like you could just beat anybody. Like it was unbelievable. It was a cheat code. The game is so fun. Street 2 sucks compared to Street 1, in my
Right.
opinion. The
Yeah.
wall jumping and all that shit sucked.
It was
NFL
too much
Street is
like
where it's at.
Blitz. Street 2 was too
Yes.
much like Blitz, but Street was all this anything NBA Street, NFL Street. Those were great games. And like you said, like I back then I was playing with I used the Tennessee Titans a lot and using Eddie George and Steve McNair. It was and Derek Mason. It was such a good like it was so cool and it was gritty. It was like it was
Yes.
like the dust and the dirt. Some of the fields would just be just gone and it was such a good game.
Yeah, Tom Brady was ass in that game. Like, dude, it's God, that if they re-released it and they re-released it just as it was then, it would be so good. It would sell like crazy because it
Yeah,
was just
that and Blitz needs to return. Like we
I
need
agree.
we need arcadey football games again. Why can't we get shit like that? Why does it have to be like I don't even like Madden anymore and this year's actually looked pretty good, but I don't have the time to get good at Madden anymore because it's just too like technical and there's always some screenplay that I refuse to play Madden online. If any of my friends want to play, I'll totally play NCAA football or Madden against somebody. I'm totally down to do that. But I refuse to play it online because it's broken because there's always one play that somebody will run over and over and over and over again. And I just don't like it. But man, if something like this were to return or Blitz, like just please, yeah, like that, I
Blitz
love it.
would be so cool. I used to play that. I had it on Dreamcast, but I also used to play it. There was a pizza shop near us that had the stand-up arcade cabinet Blitz, and I would play the shit out of that. But yeah, really strong year. 2004 is awesome. Moving on.
Real quick, you said Spider Man, the movie game, probably the best movie game of all time.
Ever.
Like
Yeah.
of any type of movie tie-in. I can't think off the top of my head of a better movie game. Maybe one of the Matrixes that was on the PS2, those were pretty good. But
Yeah.
as far as a tie-in game, going down on the street level and accepting like side quests from people in distress was just so cool.
Delivering pizzas and
Yeah,
like,
it
yeah,
was
it's
so cool.
Yeah, it's great, and it stood the test of time. Like, if you played that game today, it would still be fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
100%.
2005, this is when the PSP came out. I love the PSP. I love the Vita. I still have I don't even know how many games on the PSP. What a great little handheld. Incredible piece of hardware. This is also when the Xbox 360 released. So the
Woo!
Xbox 360 released right before holiday was well, they call this is the holiday window, right? 11/22/2005. Xbox 360, what a console. It is just a beast. The Xbox 360 is awesome. Um, not yeah, can't say enough good things about the 360. Really pushed things forward, I think, as far as the consoles are concerned. PS3 comes out obviously the following year, so the Xbox 360 had a full year
Yeah,
to get the ground running there and did a really great job. And with it came some pretty fun games. Resident Evil 4, Need for Speed Most Wanted, which it was really hard for me not to put that as my favorite game from 2005, but I didn't. Devil May Cry 3, Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, Jade Empire, Shadow of the Colossus, Ultimate Spider-Man, which is not one of my favorite Spider-Man games. I know a lot of people really love it. It's not one of my favorites. Psychonaut, Kingdom Hearts 2 released in Japan, did not release in North America in 2005. God of
mm,
War, Battlefront 2, Guitar Hero, Fear, Fear, uh, Yakuza, and Quake 4. God of War is one of my favorite games, ever. I love the original God of War. It's so good.
yep.
If you haven't played the God of War games, they hold up so well today because they are gameplay focused. They are not, tech focused. Like, the tech is cool and impressive, but it is the gameplay of God of War that keeps me coming back and keeps me playing those. I own God of War 1, 2, I think, and then what is it? Shadow of Colossus. There's a couple other ones that I
Ghost of
own on
Sparta
Vita.
was the
Ghost of
PSP
Sparta.
one, right?
Yep, Ghost of Sparta,
Or
and
was
then
that on the Vita? Was Ghost of Sparta was that a PSP game? I can't
I think it
remember.
was a PSP that they came to the Vitas. I own
Right,
them all on Vita. Um, and then I own 3 still on the PS4 version of 3,
right.
but the God of War games are phenomenal. If you haven't played those games, you're sleeping. The new God of War games are great. I like them as well. I just have a special place in my heart for the original ones. Um, Guitar Hero, obviously, this changed everything. I think this brought gaming mainstream, for a lot of people. Guitar Hero, I just have the best memories playing Guitar Hero, playing
Yeah.
Rock Band, all of those. The tracks are amazing. The Guitar Hero 1 and 2 and 3. I don't think there's a bad one. Like, they're all
Mm.
really good, and they're so much fun even today. They're really fun. Need for Speed Most Wanted and Need for Speed Most Wanted 2 are 2 of my favorite arcade racers of all time. I love Need for Speed Most Wanted. I unlocked, like, all the cars in those, back when they came out on PS. I think Need for Speed Most Wanted came out. Was it PS2? I
I
can't
think it was
remember.
PS1.
Was it PS1?
I think it was. And
Yeah,
PC.
yeah. Those games I have such fond memories of playing, as well. But yeah, I mean, let me hear your rundown of these games because there are some really good ones here too. Obviously, the start of God of War, Guitar Hero, Splinter Cell. Like, there's just so much stuff here.
No, I'm not thinking of Most Wanted. I can't remember which one I'm thinking of,
Hot
but yeah.
Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit, that's the
Yep,
PS1
those
one.
are also really good.
That's the
Yep,
one, yeah. Most Wanted was, that really good game, but no, I was thinking of Hot Pursuit.
yep.
Um,
Hot Pursuit 2 is one of my favorites too.
you know, this is hard for me too. God of War, that first one, is just awesome. I mean, I love God of War. I'm wearing my 2018 Dad of War shirt right now.
Yeah, right.
But there's a game, again, Atmosphere,
Yep.
to me, is the best survival horror game of all time. And is probably in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. And I've loved the remake, pardon the pun, but I love Resident Evil 4. Leon Kennedy is my favorite Resident Evil 4 protagonist. I was really bummed when I saw the trailer for Resident Evil Requiem because there was rumors that Leon was going to be the star of this. He may still show up. I don't know, because that's been the thing. It's been like, okay, we got Chris in Resident Evil 7 and 8. Where's Jill or Leon in this new, not universe, but kind of spin-off series, right? And so they've got to be somewhere. And so hopefully, uh, the fact that the Ashmores are in it, and it looks like it's going to be somewhere near Raccoon City or something like that. I'm hoping Leon makes an appearance. But Resident Evil 4, that that first village that you enter, and they're not zombies, but they're overtaken by this virus, the Las Plagas, and uh, it's just so good. And that first, like, you know, I don't think I remember feeling like, oh shit, oh fuck, like when the dude busts in, great chainsaw, and then you're having to run around that town, and you're like, there's nowhere to go. Like when you first play through that, the very first time, it is so intense because you don't know when it's going to stop. You don't know if the game wants you to find an exit. Do you have to kill everybody? I don't have enough ammo. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I got my head cut off by that fucking dude with the machine gun so many times. When you finally realize after running around, you're just like, I'm just going to run around. I don't know what to do. Finally, the bell rings and everybody just drops their weapons and they walk off. And you've already played about, and depending on how long it took you to and how thorough you could be, you could play 10 minutes to almost up to an hour at that point, and you're already into it. And then where'd everyone go? Bingo. And then it just goes Resident Evil 4, and you're just like, oh shit, am I in for it? And the just that European village and the mist and the atmosphere, and it's like, I love like rainy days, forecast, overcast,
Me
cloudy
too, yeah.
days. That's like my favorite thing. And so I, for years, I would just, if it was raining, I'm playing Resident Evil 4, like pick up where I left off, and 100% of that game. And then me, I'm a huge Castlevania fan. Castlevania, I'm actually playing through every now and then. Like one thing I'm doing is the Advanced Collection, Circle of the Moon. We talked about it earlier. Great Game Boy Advance game, but they practically put a Castlevania game. You get through all this village stuff, and then now I'm in a castle. Like the game just didn't. It felt like it was never going to end. And then you were in a mine shaft, and it's like then you're in a laboratory. Like what the fuck is this game? And it just they kept introducing new enemies, new bosses, and it was just nonstop action. And the fact that it was an action game more than a survival horror, but still retained the survival horror elements. I don't have enough good things to say about Resident Evil 4. So one day we'll do our favorite games of all time list. Believe me, I will have more to say about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Resident Evil 4, I know, is like widely regarded as one of the best Resident Evils. Those games do like ambiance and
Yeah.
theme, and they do them better than just about anything. So, um, yeah, my favorite game of
I'm
2005.
surprised. I'm surprised. I real quick before you announce it, I was really surprised. I thought knowing you and your party games, it was going to be Guitar Hero. I was like, when I made this list, I was like, it's going to be Guitar Hero.
I was really close to putting Guitar Hero as my favorite, but I went Battlefront 2.
Such a good game. Oh my god.
I think I have, and like part of how I did this list too, right? Is like you keep hearing me talk about how many hours I put into these games. And I think when I'm looking back at, what my favorite games are, they have to be the ones that I keep going back to, right? They have to be the ones that I played countless and countless hours. Is it the best game here? No, it's not. I think God of War,
You
and
could
honestly,
argue
I think
though,
Kingdom.
it's a great
You
game.
could, you could make the argument. It's just they took everything that Battlefront 1 did and fucking put it on steroids. It had more characters, it had bigger maps, it had a better conquest mode. Everything about Battlefront 2 was better than the first one, and the first one was one of my favorite games ever. So I mean, my brother and I put in so many hours into this game. I played this game just at nauseum. Like I couldn't put this shit down. I played it all the time. It was so fun to me. I think having it be like a third person shooter, I love third person shooters. Like my favorite, kind of my favorite style. I love first person, but third person is just my jam. And this scratches that itch. I know that they re-released them on current gen consoles and stuff like that. I haven't picked it up. I probably should and play through it. But man, there's not enough good things. There's just too many good things to say about this game. There's really no drawbacks. It's just a fun sandbox style game
Yeah.
where you can jump in and every battle is going to feel really unique and different. Um,
You know what my favorite thing about Battlefront 2 was? It made me give a fuck about the prequels.
yeah,
It really did. Like, I actually liked the Phantom Menace when it first came out.
yeah, I think everybody did.
I really did. I liked the Phantom Menace. Like everyone, I hated Attack of the Clones. Um, and Revenge of the Sith was decent, but this game was like I really cared about. Like I to me, I don't even remember the name of it, but Anakin's that X-wing of from back then, the yellow thing with the
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I
I don't
love
remember
that
the name
ship.
of the
That's
thing.
one of
It's
the
a
best
cool design.
aesthetically pleasing ships in Star Wars. So yeah, dude, I agree with you, man. Such a good game.
Yeah, it's awesome. The N1 Starfighter is the name of
That's
the
what it
ship.
is. N1 Starfighter.
Um,
Such a
yeah,
good ship.
this is just like this is another game that you can play today and would still be fun and play well and not age. Some of these games are really timeless, and I think Battlefront 2 is one of those games. But it's so hard to pick from this list, man. I mean, I could have easily gone God of War, could have easily gone Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
Need for Speed Most Wanted. I mean, all of these games are
And
so good.
I said all that because I didn't even know. Were you a Guitar Hero guy?
Oh yeah, big Guitar Hero guy.
I
Yeah.
figured you were just knowing what you play, but I was like, when I made this, I was like, Kevin's got to be all over Guitar Hero. And you know what's crazy? I've never played Guitar Hero.
No way. Are you serious? How
I
have you never played Guitar
I've
Hero?
never played. I have like I think I tried it once at a friend's house. I never owned it. Like I've something about like to me, it was almost like the way I feel about mobile games is how I
Yeah.
felt about guitar. I'm like, that's not a video game. And I missed
Mm,
out. I hate that I didn't do it
yeah.
because like Dragon Force and all this shit and like all these great
Oh
bands and
man.
like getting to like and I love you know what one of my favorite things to do when I'm not like I scroll YouTube is watching people do like the most difficult shit on Guitar Hero. It's insane. It's
It's
insane.
crazy.
But I never played it. And I don't even
Oh
think
man.
my wife played the shit out of Guitar Hero. I just never had it. I never owned it. It felt like one of those games. I think what it was it was one of those games you had to play that with other people.
Yeah.
And this came out in a time of my sad, lonely existence that I was just playing nothing but these single player games. And so it just, I never bought it. So
Yeah. I'm gonna look up this track list for Guitar Hero 1 because um let me see. Complete song list, Guitar Hero. Okay. Okay.
what do we
Ace of
got?
Spades,
Okay.
Bark at the Moon, Cowboys from Hell, Crossroads, Fat Lip, Godzilla, Higher Ground, I Love Rock and Roll, I Wanna Be Sedated, Iron Man, Killer Queen, More Than a Feeling, No One Knows, Sharp Dressed Man. I mean, these are like
I missed out. I
these
missed
are
out.
insane.
Like a majority of
Still a
those
couple
songs
longer.
you said are some of my favorite songs of all time. And it's
Yeah.
like, damn, I missed out. I missed
Dude,
out.
it's so good. Yeah, the Guitar Hero 3, I think, is probably of all of them my favorite, but you can't go wrong with any of
And
them.
what's crazy is like as a gamer, that's I think Guitar Hero would probably be in the top 20 somewhere of most important video games of all time. Like
Oh, I
because
would
there
agree.
was
Yeah.
nothing like that that came out. And it was such a great. It was like once you when I you were talking about the Halo 2 thing with colleges, like I think every college party at some point somebody was playing Guitar Hero in some part of that house.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's an important game, and it's damn. I just can't believe that I never played it.
Yeah. It's crazy. The peripherals for it are really expensive now. Like the old Guitar Hero controllers and shit like that go for quite a lot of money now because they're hard to come by and those things yeah, they broke pretty easily. But that wraps up the first 5
Woo!
years. Really fun. I can't wait to do 2006 to 2010 on the next episode. We have some oh my god, dude,
Dude,
there are some bangers coming up.
yeah, it's the next episode I think is going to be where I don't know about you, but that's those next 5 years were where gaming really just sunk its teeth into me as a whole. Like everything that I said was my favorite was pretty much all that I played through those years. But these years, I really just like shit, man, hours lost on some of the stuff that's coming up. So I can't wait to talk about that. But I'm not going to spoil anything for that. So hopefully you guys tune into that one when it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, guys, you can be a part of the show. If you write in to remotegamingpodcast@gmail.com, tell us what if you want, send us your top 5 games from 2000 to 2005. We'll read them off. We'll talk about them and we'll celebrate them alongside you guys. Catch us on Twitter or X. I fucking hate calling it X at remote, at
I always
remote
forget.
gaming 20.
Feels like
Catch
porn.
us there.
Sorry.
It,
It feels
it
like
does.
porn.
Yeah, I think you must do that on purpose. But we're tweeting, we're out there, we're commenting, we're giving our thoughts. I gave my Borderlands thoughts this weekend over on Twitter, so check us out there. If you want to see our beautiful faces as we talk video games and sit in rooms in our homes, YouTube Remote Gaming Podcast. Check us out there. Obviously, all of your podcast services as well. Joseph, it's been a fun episode. I've really enjoyed this one. I think walking through our games, like I said, there are some really fun ones that I'm excited to talk about coming up. So um, we will do that. But anything to add before we sign off here?
Nah, brother. Just Versetti. Remember the name.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Later.